Amazon supervisor Arthur Turner is accused of sexual harassment and assault in lawsuit. When people talk about sexual harassment, they always talk about men sexually harassing women. And that happens because they want to present that narrative of an aggressive and brutish, strong man going after a weak and vulnerable woman. But that's not the only form of sexual harassment that is out there. This form of harassment is more advertised because the media uses that scenario because it's easy to sell to an audience. If you look at the prison system, there are a whole bunch of television advertisements that are in New York that are talking about female prisoners being sexually assaulted. And the voice on the commercial further instructs female victims to contact these law firms who are handling these cases. And these advertisements don't even mention men being sexually assaulted in prison, when men are probably more sexually assaulted in prison than women. This is the society that we live within, as they train boys and men not to speak up about sexual harassment and sexual assault in the workplace, prisons, the church, and throughout the rest of society in all institutions. At Amazon in Staten Island, New York, which is also identified as JFK8, Amazon had a supervisor, Arthur Turner, who went around pretending to be a nice guy when in fact he was not. Arthur Turner is a person who is black or African American, and he was fooling the black employees, and he was abusing his power as a supervisor or process assistant and a safety officer. In a discrimination lawsuit against Amazon, Richard Thomas accuses Arthur Turner of the following. 1. On Wednesday, October 26, 2022, at around 2:30 p.m., Arthur came behind the plaintiff and assaulted Richard Thomas in the vendor returns department and scared Thomas by grabbing Thomas by his waist and squeezing the plaintiff's waist, and then pulling the plaintiff's waist. Thomas, who was pushing around 10 to 15 totes, was frightened, and Thomas jumped and screamed, "Ah!" after being frightened. Number 2. Supervisors Damien and Amina were witnesses to the incident, and Arthur told both of them, "Did you see the nigga jump? Did you see the nigga jump? He was screaming like a girl. I'm sure he was feeling like a girl at that time." Number 3. Arthur would have never done this to a white employee and said, "Did you see the cracker jump? Did you see the honky jump? Did you see the white trash jump?" Therefore, this is race or skin color discrimination. Number 4. Arthur would have never grabbed or squeezed a female employee by her waist. Therefore, this is sexual harassment or gender discrimination. Number 5. Arthur would have never told anyone in the LGBTQ community that they were feeling like a girl. Therefore, this is gender discrimination or sexual identity discrimination. Number 6. Arthur was hiding behind boxes to come behind the plaintiff to scare and frighten the plaintiff while he was working. Arthur is supposed to be a safety employee, and he was making Amazon an unsafe place to work. Was he trying to make the plaintiff wet his pants or have a heart attack? Arthur wasn't hardly working. He was talking to everybody and handing out cakes, cookies, and chips to employees and asking the plaintiff, "Why don't you take any of the food that I offer you?" and then call the plaintiff Mr. Alright. Number 7. The plaintiff alleges and speculates that Amazon placed Arthur there to watch and spy, contain and control and calm the black employees, and to find out information about the employees and send that information back to Amazon. And since he can't attain info from the plaintiff because the plaintiff is just saying alright, Arthur has a problem with that. Number 8. This was the second time that Arthur did this to the plaintiff. He started doing this around the previous day, and minutes later, after the 10/26/22 incident, Arthur assaulted the plaintiff again for a third time as the plaintiff was standing by his computer and working. Number 9. On Saturday, October 29, 2022, Arthur came behind the plaintiff and assaulted him again by grabbing, squeezing, and pulling the plaintiff's waist. The plaintiff then asked Arthur, "Are you working or feeling men up?" This was the 4th time that the Arthur assaulted the plaintiff.